Hi, Cinnamon. How are you? I am so glad to see you. Here you go, Cinnamon. All right, your name is done. Who is the next subscriber, everybody? Welcome in. We are doing the neon names once again. So get your names done, guys. Welcome in, Isabel. How are you doing today? Here you go, Isabel. Next we have is Has Flap. All right, here you go, Has Flap. All right, who do we have next, everybody? Welcome to my live. Drop in your names. We are doing the neon names once again, so get your names done, guys. Who do we have next, guys? Everybody, welcome in. Get your names done. Just give me 1 second, everybody. All right, let's begin, guys. Everybody, welcome in. We are doing the neon names. Get your beautiful names done, guys. All right, who do we have next, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome to my live, guys. All right, then next we have is, who is that? Busy in the chat. Is it busy? All right, it's busy. All right, here you go, busy. Who is next, everybody? Then I see is Hope in the chat. Here you go, Hope. Next, who do we have, guys? Omer in the chat. Here you go, Omer. Thank you so much. And then who is next, everybody? Welcome in. Demetra. All right. Demetra, is that Demetra? All right. Next subscriber is Andrea in the chat. Thank you, Andrea. You got your glowing name done in time. Then we've got is Cohen in the chat. Here you go, Cohen. Next subscriber we've got is Olivia in the chat. Here you go, Olivia. Let's go, everybody. Then we have is Cassidy. Thank you so much for liking. And then the next subscriber that we have is, who is next, everybody? Let's go, Fernanda. All right. Here you go, Fernanda. Who's going to be the next subscriber, everybody? Welcome to my live. All right, let's go, guys. Everybody drop your names in the comments. We are doing the glowing neon names. James in the chat. All right, James. Here you go. Next we have is Aza in the chat. Here you go, Aza. Have a nice day. And then we have is, who is that? Everybody welcome in. Audrey in the chat. Thank you, Audrey. Here you go, Audrey. Next subscriber is Jaden. Thank you so much for subscribing. And then the next subscriber that we have is Colby in the chat. Here you go, Colby. Next we've got is Diago in the chat. Here you go, Diago. And then we have next is Rosie. And the next subscriber that we have is Libby in the chat. Here you go, Libby. And then we've got is Savvy in the chat. Here you go, Savvy. And then we have is Sharky. Here you go, Sharky. And then the next subscriber we have is, who is that? Welcome in, everybody. Tara in the chat. All right, Tara, here you go. Next subscriber is Archie in the chat. All right, Archie. And then the next subscriber we have is Elena in the chat. Let's get to the next line, everybody. All right, who do we have next, guys? We have is Grace in the chat. Thank you, Grace. Here you go, Grace. And then the next subscriber that we have is Sophia in the chat. All right, Sophia. Who do we have next, guys? I see is, all right, Sophia, I'll do your name again. Here you go, Sophia. All right, next subscriber we've got is Zoe in the chat. Thank you, Zoe, for liking. Who has liked and subscribed? Zaidi. How are you, Zaidi? Here you go, Zaidi. And then the next name we have is Leanne in the chat. Thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Arena. Here you go. Your glowing neon name is done. Then we have is Libby in the chat. Thank you, Libby. And then the next subscriber is Faith in the chat. Here you go, Faith. And then the next subscriber is Adora in the chat. Here you go, Adora. Then we have is Nayland in the chat. Here you go, Nayland. And then the next subscriber is Liam in the chat. Here you go, Liam. And then we have is Amandi in the chat. Here you go, Amandi. And then my next subscriber is Matt in the chat. Here you go, Matt. And then we have is Arshan in the chat. Here you go, Arshan. And then the next subscriber is Hamza in the chat. Here you go, Hamza. And then who is next, guys? I see is Janice. Thank you so much, Janice. And then my next subscriber is Ximena in the chat. Here you go, Ximena. Thank you for liking. And then we have is Keisha in the chat. Here you go, Keisha. And then we have is Aram in the chat. All right, Aram. And then we have is Zoe in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing, Luck. And then the next subscriber is Ashi in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Jenny in the chat. Here you go, Jenny. And then the next subscriber is Connie in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Anaya in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Corey in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Gianna in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Nell in the chat. And then we have is Jonia in the chat. Here you go. And then the next subscriber that we have is Lisa in the chat. And then we have is Elijah in the chat. And then who has liked and subscribed? Ralph, thank you. All right, who else has liked and subscribed? I see Charlie. Thank you so much, Charlie. Have a nice day. Let's go, guys. Then we have is Sabrina. How are you, Sabrina? And then the next subscriber that we have is Ellie in the chat. Thank you, Ellie. Then we've got is Kayo May. All right, next subscriber is Kona in the chat. All right, who do we have next? Just give me 1 second, everybody. Everybody hit that subscribe button and let's begin, guys. Lillian in the chat, thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber is Jiso in the chat. Thank you for liking. And then we have the next subscriber is Dante. And then we have is Kim in the chat. Here you go, Kim. And then we have is Sophia. Thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Ben. Thank you so much. And then the next subscriber in my chat is, who is that? Everybody drop your names. Let's go. That's Ayo Ben. Here you go. I don't know how to pronounce that. Here you go. Then we got is Oma in the chat. Thank you. And then the next subscriber we've got is Paul in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Rose in the chat. Let's go, everybody. Alia is here, guys, in the chat. Here you go, Alia. Have a nice day. And then the next subscriber is Emmanuel. Thank you. Thank you for liking. And then the next subscriber is Isa in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Chloe in the chat. All right, it's pronounced as Avin. All right, then we have is Ella in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Jake in the chat. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Bryson. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Hit that like button, guys. Ismail, welcome back. Let's go. Next we've got is Chloe in the chat. Thank you, Chloe. And then we have is Bobby in the chat. Thank you, Bobby. And then the next subscriber is Evelyn in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Nayana in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Ade in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Brooke in the chat. All right, and then the next subscriber is Walton. Thank you so much for liking. And then we have is Kirad. All right, and then the next subscriber is Raven in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Bayanka. Thank you for liking. And then my next subscriber is Violet. Thank you for liking. And then my next subscriber is Marley. And then my next subscriber is Kayla's. And then my next subscriber is Jewelry. Thank you so much for liking. Let's get to the next page, everybody. All right. And then the next subscriber that we have in the chat is Emma. Thank you so much. And then the next subscriber is Libby. Thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Isabella. Let's go. And then we have is JJ. Let's go, everybody. Everybody, hit the like button. Danny's here in the chat, guys. All right, Danny. And then we have is Candace. Let's go. All right. And then we have is Mia in the chat. Thank you, Mia. And then we have is Flo who subscribed. Thank you. And then the next subscriber is Dawn. Thank you so much for liking. And then we have is Lucy in the chat. And then the next subscriber that I see is Manpreet. Thank you. Welcome back. And then the next subscriber is Candy. Thank you so much. And then the next subscriber is Sophia in the chat. All right, Sophia, how are you? Hi, Mint, how are you? All right, next subscriber is Megan in the chat. All right, Megan, thank you so much for liking, Megan. Thank you. And then the next subscriber is Roman. And then the next subscriber is Janave. And then the next subscriber is Florence. Thank you so much for liking. And then the next subscriber is DJ Ray. Thank you so much for liking. And then we have is Ryan. And then the next subscriber is Lily's. And then the next subscriber is Petra in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Day. And then the next subscriber is Chloe. Is that Cole or Chloe? Here you go. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Millie. Thank you so much for tapping. And then my next subscriber is Angelica. I love your name. And then the next subscriber is Amy in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Taylin. And then the next subscriber is Angel. All right, let's go, everybody. Then we have is Lily in the chat. And then the next subscriber that I have is Amber. Thank you so much for liking, Amber. And then we've got is Yebok in the chat. And then we have next is Bella. Thank you. All right. And then the next subscriber is Liam in the chat. And then my next subscriber is Enzo Cole. All right. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Mimi. Here you go, Mimi. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Grass. All right. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Daniela. Thank you so much for liking. And then we've got a Sunny in the chat. And then my next subscriber, everybody, is Devon in the chat. All right. And then we have is Patrick. Thank you so much for liking. And then we have is Riley in the chat. Thank you. And then we have is Alana. Thank you so much. And then next subscriber we've got is Lydia in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Tala in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Tilly. And then the next subscriber is Katsy. Or is that Cat's Eye? All right, here you go. And then the next subscriber is Nathan in the chat. Let's go, everybody. All right, then we have is, who is that? Daisy. Thank you so much for liking. All right. And then we have is Aneka. Thank you. You're the best too. And then the next subscriber is Emma. Thank you so much for liking. Then we've got is Daria in the chat. Here you go, Daria. And then we have is Adana in the chat. Thank you so much. And then we have a Snake in the chat. All right, next subscriber is Poppy. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Then we've got is Penelope. Thank you so much, Penelope. And then we have is in the chat, Ella. And then we've got is Hayden. All right, let's go, everybody. And then we have is Aishlyn. Thank you, Aishlyn. And then the next subscriber in my chat is Santiago. Let's go. And then we have is Suna. All right, let's go, guys. Then we have is Mary in the chat. How are you, Mary? And then we have is Eddie in the chat. How are you? And then we've got Presley. Thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Ruben. All right, Ruben. Let's go. Amelia's here, guys. All right. And then who do we have next? That is Aryan. All right, Aryan, how are you doing today? Then we have is Luna. Let's go, Luna. And then next subscriber we've got is Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. And then the next subscriber is James. All right, let's go, guys. Then we have is Alan. And then we've got is Jimmy. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking. And then we have is Alam. All right, Alan. And then the next subscriber is Aya. All right. And then the next subscriber is Charlie. Thank you so much for liking. Who else has liked, guys? Let me see. That is Daksha. Thank you so much for liking. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Zane. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Evelyn. Thank you so much for liking. And then the next subscriber is No Foul. And then the next subscriber is Laura in the chat. And then the next subscriber is Muhammad. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Lara. And then my next subscriber in the chat is Hank. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Manon. And then we have is I see Dio. Thank you so much for liking, Dio. You are the best. And then we've got Gracie in the chat. How are you, Gracie? And then we have next is Ron in the chat. Let's go, Janvi is here, guys. All right, and then the next subscriber that we have is Eden. And then let's get to the next page, everybody. All right, let's begin, guys. Then we have in the chat is Junie. How are you doing, Junie? Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, Junie. And then the next subscriber in the chat is Miku. That's a cute name. And then we have is John in the chat. Here you go, John. And then the next subscriber we've got is Pymel. Here you go, Pymel. And then the next subscriber is Kimani in the chat. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, Kimani. Hi, Megan. How are you, Megan? Here you go, Megan. And then we have is... Please, your favorite cat's name. That's Leo in the chat then. All right. Next we've got is Manon in the chat. All right. And then we've got is Hunter. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And then we've got is Freddie in the chat. Let's go, Freddie. Next subscriber we've got is Carly. Here you go, Carly. You got your name done in time. Thank you for liking. Danny. All right, Danny. Here you go. Next subscriber in the chat is Nadia in the chat. All right. And then we have is Jaden. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, Jaden. Then we have is Cameron. Thank you so much for liking. And then who else has liked? Mickey. Thank you. All right. Here you go, Mickey. And then we've got is Jesse in the chat. All right, let's go, guys. Amy, you got your neon name done in time. And then we have is Ayan. Thank you so much for liking. And then we have is Erica. Thank you so much. And then we have next, everybody, let's go, guys. I see is Noah in the chat. Thank you, Noah, for liking and subscribing. Let's go, guys. Louis is here, guys. Check it out, guys. Louis in the chat. All right, next subscriber is Rukaya. Thank you so much for liking. Who else has liked, guys? I see Laska who liked. Thank you. And then we have is Jemiah. Thank you for liking. And then who else has liked, guys? I will see it is Emily. Thank you, Emily. You are so sweet, Emily. And then we've got is Holly in the chat. Here you go, Holly. All right, guys, let's go. Then we've got is Eoin. Thank you. If you guys want a star with your name, you guys can write your name and write star. Okay, I can put a star on your name if you write it with the star, like say star and your name. All right, Gracie, thank you so much for liking. And then we have is... Who is that? Amelia wants a star. All right, Amelia, here you go. All right, next, who do we have? Lucky in the chat. Whoever wants a star with their name, just write your name with a star. Star Newsy. All right, Newsy got a star. Next we've got is Varda in the chat. All right, Varda, here you go. Next subscriber in the chat is Trinity. And then we have Suna in the chat who wants a star. Then we've got Dave who wants a star. And then whoever wants a star, right? We are named with a star. Isaac. All right. Next, we got Annie who wants a star. All right, we're getting star names here, guys. Come on, everybody. Then we've got Iskiran. All right, let's go, guys. I'll put a heart. If you guys don't draw a star, I'll just put a heart. Okay, guys? That's fine? All right, then we've got Bazzy who wants a star. All right, Bazzy, here you go. All right, next line, everybody. Layla also wants a star, guys. Let's go, Layla. And then we have who is that? Alia wants a star, guys. Okay, Alia, you're gonna get a star if you want it. All right, then we've got is Tesla who wants a star. Okay, Tesla, I will give you a star. Here you go. And then we've got Kyle who wants a star. Here you go, Kyle. All right, then we've got who is that? Minna, here you go. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Ileana, here you go. Everybody, I'm going to put up a heart with your names. If you want a star, just draw a star and I'll make it. Leah wants a star. Here you go, Leah. Brooklyn wants a star. All right, Brooklyn, here you go. I'll give you a star. All right. Then we've got Isla who wants a star. All right. Then we have Stanley in the chat. Here you go, Stanley. And then we've got Fairview in the chat. Here you go, Fairview. He wants a star. All right. Then we have Emily who wants a star. All right, Emily. And then who do we have next? Then we have Mira. That's my name too. Thank you. And then we've got Lydia who wants a heart. All right, everybody draw a heart or star with your name. Then we've got Ahmed who wants a star. And then we've got Ray who wants a star. Everybody, you can draw either a heart or a star with your name so that I can draw it. Lottie wants a star. All right, Lottie, here you go. Harris wants a heart. All right, Harris, here you go. Then we've got Lee Kemso. Thank you, Lee Kemso. You also got a star because you wanted it. Let's go. Then we've got Burton. Thank you, Burton. You got a star. Next we've got everybody either put a star or a heart with your name so that I can draw it. All right. Then we've got who is that? Emma in the chat. She wants a star. All right, Emma. And then Finn wants a smiley. That's something really different. Here you go, Finn. And then we've got Matilda wants a heart. All right, Matilda, here you go. I'll give you a heart. And then we have Boris in the chat. Boris, what do you want? I'll just put up a heart with your name. All right, Zoe in the chat wants a star. And then we've got Ringway who wants a star. All right, Ringway, let's go, everybody. Sadie wants a heart. All right, Sadie, here you go. Then we've got Grayson who wants a star. And then we have Xander who wants a heart. All right. Who wants a heart and who wants a star? Ariana wants a star. Here you go, Ariana. Here you go. And then we've got who is that? Sarah. Sarah wants a star. All right. Okay, guys, let's go, everybody. Now also tell me if you want a smiley face. Also draw a smiley face if you want it. Daniel wanted a star. Then we've got next Jahim in the chat. Here you go, Jahim. All right. Then we've got who is that? Burned. Is that Burned? Is that a name? Here you go, Bernard. Is that Bernard? All right, I'll give you a star plus a heart because you drew both of them. All right, next we have Alex who wants a smiley face. All right, Alex. All right, Mitchell wants a star. All right, guys, now I will be going for a break, but I'll be back. Just hold on. I'll be back literally after I guess half an hour. So see you guys. I love you all.